Temperature control gooseneck kettles are not only good for coffee brewing, but is also the choice to go for tea making. I have been using this Cocinaré kettle for already several weeks, and today I would like to share my impressions with you. Hi guys, this is Gabriele from nannuoshan, where we share the pleasure of drinking and discovering genuine farm tea. When you brew tea, it has to be a pleasure, and it's only a pleasure if all the stuff you're using, including the kettle, work as they should. This is a fairly new kettle on the market. It has been with me for quite some time, and I have now collected enough tea sessions to really share my impressions with you. I will start with general features like price, capacity, display and buttons, as well as the build quality. Concerning the price, the kettle comes in the US for $159, but at the moment on the Cocinaré website it is discounted to $129. So check it out, I will put a link in the description below. In Europe, the kettle cost €146, but there is right now a discount down to 119. Same story, check it out on the Cocinaré website, although it's also available on Amazon. Now, next up, capacity. The capacity is 900 milliliters, which is fairly common on the market among several kettles. For example, these other here that we had in our shop for quite a while, and of which I have a few at home, and also 900 milliliters. There are a few others like the Brewista that go up to 1.2 liters. So if you really need that large quantity, that would be the choice to go. But in my opinion, 900 milliliters is just fine because it's not too heavy. And at the end, we brew Gonfucha style, and so we don't need that much water, right? Good, so price, capacity. Now let's have a look at it. First of all, maybe a look at the display here. We have 4 different buttons and a wheel in the center. In the display, there is the set temperature. Now is there at 80 degrees. You can just turn it up, for example, to 90. And you hear a click for every degree that you move it up. And on top, 27 degrees centigrade right now, is the temperature of the water inside the kettle. You can easily switch to Fahrenheit, 194, set temperature, 81, the current temperature in the kettle. There is a start button that turns orange when you press it, and it starts bringing up the temperature of the water. And there is also a flashing icon on the display to show you that. You can decide to hold the temperature or not. And a very interesting feature is here the timer. What happens? When you click on the timer, it gives you 3 seconds to grab the kettle and start the pouring. And then you have a timer from which you can check how long the brew will be. So very convenient, and also thought through with the countdown from 3 to 0, so that you don't have really to take the kettle in one hand, press the timer. That will feel a little bit awkward. Let's stop this. What is missing? Maybe the possibility to deactivate the beep that the kettle does when it reaches the temperature. It doesn't bother to me, but maybe if you want to have really a quiet session where you only want to hear the sound of the water, would be something to have. This one here, yeah, it has the possibility to deactivate the beep. However, it comes with a more simple display where only one temperature is shown, there is only one wheel, and all the other buttons are in the back. Just to give you a comparison between this one and the other one. Concerning the finishing, it comes this one with matte black finishing on the metal here, so it is coated, and it has the Cocinaré logo and name on the handle. It has that in kind of gold color as well as the wheel, as you can see, otherwise it's completely black. Same finishing for the spout. One thing that I noticed is that the lid is made of plastic completely. This part and also this part are made of plastic. If I look at this one here, the top one of the lid is actually still plastic now that I notice. I thought it was metal. They are both plastic, but it has the same finishing of the body of the kettle. So when it is on it, you don't really see the difference. While here, at least myself, at the first glance, I see that there are two different tones of black. Probably because they cannot apply the same coating on plastic. Other than that, there is a soft insert here, so that when you grab the kettle, you can press comfortably with your thumb on it for pouring. And the base is also plastic, but it is closer to the black of the body of the kettle. So I say this is maybe more my thing. I really notice when colors are a little bit off, but up to you to decide whether this is a problem or not. So that's as much as we want to say to you about the look and the features of the kettle. Let's now look at the usage, and in particular at the time it needs to heat up the water, the flow rate, and also the quality of the flow. The first test that I did was boiling the water, starting from room temperature, today 27 degrees centigrade, up to 100 degrees centigrade. I wanted to see how long it takes. Well, this kettle, the Cocinaré, took 3 minutes and 45 seconds. I used this one as a comparison, which took 4 minutes and 20 seconds. So 35 seconds longer. Why? Because this is more powerful. We have 1200 watt on this side, and this is rated between 1250 and 1500, but actually it runs very close to 1500, so it is a little bit more powerful. One thing that I notice is that when you boil up to 100 degrees with this one, not the whole series, just this very specific kettle, it basically reaches boiling temperature, 100 degrees, a little bit earlier before the displays show 100 degrees. Actually, this is something that happens with pretty much every kettle, but it is a little bit more pronounced here. Now, it doesn't mean it will happen with yours. And the reason is the following. Those kettles, this one, and pretty much anyone else, have fairly cheap temperature sensor. That's how it is. This means that the temperature sensors that are inside this kettle is not very accurate, and also takes some time to react to a change in temperature. This means that, let's say that it is plus minus 1 degree. If you are lucky and you get your kettle that is pretty precise right there in the middle, then it will show 100 degrees exactly when you hit 100 degrees. If you are a little bit unlucky and maybe it shows, let's say, 1 degree less, 99, when it is already boiling, it will take a little bit of time until it's continuing powering, and actually the base of the kettle, because water you cannot bring it more than 100 degrees, but the base you can, goes a little bit higher and then it stops. So it's not a big deal. As said, you will not find a kettle, at least I never found a kettle before these ones here. I had which was the name? Bonavita, I think, yeah, Bonavita kettle. I had 2 of them when I was in the US. And in the US 110 volt, in Europe 220, so I couldn't use it. I bought some new. Also there, same story. You have also a little bit of discrepancy. The only thing you will notice how much is off, and if it is 1 or 2 degrees off, you just set the dial at, let's say, 98 degrees instead of 100. when you want to boil it. All right, so for this first test, I said from room temperature to boiling. That's the first time you start, when you start a tea session, right? Then what happened? That from time to time, you want to pour again water in your gaiwan, right? And in that case, you have already warm, hot actually water in the kettle. It just cooled down a little bit and you want to bring it up again. So I did the same test, but starting at 50 degrees centigrade and going up to 90. So I was heating up just 40 degrees Celsius difference. I wanted to see what happened. Now, also here, as expected, this one was faster than this one. And in particular, we had 2 minutes 30 seconds and 2 minutes 50 seconds. Both did not overshoot. What does it mean? It means that they actually gave out pretty much the whole power at the beginning, so that the water heat up, and just 5 degrees before hitting the set temperature, 90 degrees centigrade, they go a little bit slower, less power. And so they can reach the 90 degrees without overshooting to 92, 95, not even a single degree overshoot. So I would say that's fairly reasonable. It means that even if you wait quite a bit before your second or third steep, it will take just a couple of minutes to bring up the temperature back to where you want it. All right, the next thing that we want to see is the flow rate. Why is the flow rate important? The flow rate is important because we do Gonfucha style. It means our steeping time is fairly short. Maybe even flash brewing, right? It means water in, water out. And if it takes a lot to bring the water in, actually your brew will not be really flashing, right? But it will take a little bit longer. So this is a crucial aspect, I would say, when doing Gonfucha. And I measure it. Yeah, that's what I did. I just measured basically for this kettle how much it takes to pour, let's say 100 milliliters or 200 milliliters. The kettle is at about 25 to 30 milliliter per second. This means that for a 100 milliliter gaiwan, you will be actually faster than 4 seconds to fill it up, probably around 3 seconds. While this other kettle that I had here is substantially slower and is more at around 20 milliliter per second. So with this one will take maybe 5 seconds. 3, 3.5, 5. So you see there is a little bit of difference, and it's relevant only for those of you that use a lot of tea leaves and do flash brewing. So think about it. I start with this, I have a 100 milliliter gaiwan, I start pouring. From the moment the first drop touches the gaiwan, I have 3.5 seconds, then I put the kettle back, I take the gaiwan and I pour out. It means that in about 6 seconds from the first drop hitting the leaves, I am already pouring out. Quite okay. Yeah, with this one would be a couple of seconds more. There are kettles on the market that are even faster than this one, but you never go really above 40 milliliter per second. It would be pretty much the maximum you can find, and that would allow you to fill up a 100 milliliter gaiwan in just 2.5 seconds. Does this 1 second really matter? Up to you to decide. It really depends how you judge. Next up is the quality of the flow. 2 aspects are relevant for me. One is how smooth the stream of water is. If it is very smooth and linear, or if it is more turbulent, let's say. And the other aspect is the width of the stream, which means when you pour out, let me show that to you. When you pour out with your kettle, you want to check if the water jumps way far away from where your spouts end, or it is very close to where your spouts end. So, why these are important? Concerning the turbulent aspect, if the flow is very turbulent, you have to stay fairly close to the gaiwan or the teapot. If you go very much up, then the stream breaks and you just spill all around. However, I have to say that for doing gonfucha with small teapots, small guy ones, you seldom go very high. So it's not, let's say, for the usage so relevant. It just matters maybe for your personal feelings. If you like a very smooth flow just because it feels better, it looks better, then might be of relevance for you. Now, if you compare these two, we have that the Cocinaré has a little bit more turbulence. So the stream is more moving up, and I will tell you why in a moment. While with this one here, that I don't remember the brand. I don't remember the brand. I will write it on the screen. It's very difficult, by the way, to find this kettle in Europe. I wasn't able to find it. I was able to find only shipment from China, while it is still available in the US, and it's fairly affordable. I think around $70. So I said I'll write the name and just go out and Google it. You will find if it is available or not. I've seen that the shops changes quite a bit, and so it's just worth doing the search yourself. So this is a little bit more linear, nicer if you want, less turbulent, the stream. And it is because, first of all, the flow is less, we said before. So if you have less flow, it's also easier to make it less turbulent. And also because of the shape. You see that this has two strong curvatures, one here and one here. This one is just a curvature here, and then it's fairly straight. This means that probably, that's my assumption, because of this very narrow curve here, you get actually the flow coming out not that smooth. However, that has another advantage. And the advantage of these is actually the width of the stream. Look at this. You can see that the width of the stream of the Cocinaré kettle is substantially narrower than the width of the other one here. About 20-25% less width, narrower. Now, why this is important? You have seen it here when I was just brewing it before. If you have a kettle that really, jump far away from your, stream that really jump far away from your kettle, it's kind of a little bit odd to control it. I mean, this is just 20% more, and I don't have water here. I can fill it and show it to you. But basically, you need to know your kettle to decide at which distance you go, right? And otherwise, the risk is that you, instead of hitting the pitcher in this case, or the guy or the teapot, you just hit the table. So what you usually do, you start very close, and then it goes, and then you center it, right? While if you have the stream coming almost straight down, then it's very easy. You can start here, and it goes straight down. There is not a huge difference between the two, but it's certainly an aspect that you want to watch out. And if you consider buying another kettle, check that one test. With our gonfucha tea making, we always use very small and tiny gaiwan teapots and pitcher. You barely pour water in a pitcher, only for doing green tea. But let me show you this. Look, this teapot here. See how small the opening is? And here the same story, right? If you go here, you can just be right on top of it, and it's not a problem. And with the other one, you have maybe to watch a little bit more. Yeah. So it's possible, right? You get used to it, but it's just a little bit more convenient if it goes straight down. At least that's in my opinion. There is one other aspect actually that I want to speak about, and it is ergonomics and handling overall. Now you have seen I've been using both. They have similar holding, but here it goes up so that you can really put your thumbs only in one position. Here, depending on the size of your hand, you can go up or down. It feels fairly balanced to me. When using it, I never noticed, any problem with that. You see that it's fairly slim. They did a large base, slimming up to the top, tapering to the top. Well, this is a little bit bulkier. I say they are both 900 milliliters actually, but this feels a little bit, it's actually even a little bit heavier, I think. Now I have different amount of water, but if I remember, this is also a little bit heavier and a little bit thicker in the top. So this gives you a little bit more room in this area. It feels very balanced, so on that, no concern. Just one tip, remember when you pour out, especially with the full guy one, since there is always a hole right in the lid to let the water coming out, remember to put that hole or multiple holes, here there are 3 of them, remember to put them on the side of the thumb and not on the other side. Otherwise what could happen is that you have water coming out from here. So that's all in all my review. You probably have noticed in my last videos that I have been using actually almost only this one here. I still have also the other kettle, but I just found myself using this one more often. The price, I think it's okay, especially with the discount. 150, 146 euro, $159 sounds a little bit high, but I've seen that those discounts have been there for a while. So at 119 euro and $129, I think it's definitely worth it. That's what I want to say to you today. I hope you have enjoyed this review, and if you have the kettle at home and you have some additional comments, please write in the description below so that other viewers and future owner of the kettle can benefit also from your experience. Thanks a lot for watching, and stay tuned for the next one.